Hello, I'm Mark Skinner. Join me for a drive through this glorious area of outstanding natural beauty known as the Cotswolds. In normal times, we would see many tourists from home and abroad enjoying the beauty of the Cotswolds, but the current travel restrictions and filming early in the day means that we shall see hardly anybody at all. To make this trip more relaxing, I shall try to minimise the narration and let the images of the countryside and villages do the talking. Most of these Cotswold villages date back to the 11th century, and many are mentioned in William the Conqueror's Domesday Book of 1086. The Cotswold style of architecture emerged during the late 16th century and has grown in popularity ever since. From Little Barrington in Gloucestershire, we travel west, paying a visit to the Cotswold Wildlife Park and Gardens en route to Eastleach. We shall wind our way north up the Colne Valley, passing through Yanworth and its beautiful open hill road, then continue on to Withington. The Cotswolds are very rich in oolitic limestone from which these houses are built, and there are still quarries in the region extracting building stone and roofing slate for repair and for the construction of new buildings. First opened in 1970 by John Hayworth and now run by his son Reggie, Cotswold Wildlife Park and Gardens houses one of the UK's largest zoological collections and most striking gardens. It's such a pity that we have only time here to look at a few species. The former sleepy parishes of Eastleach Turville and Eastleach Martin, separated by the River Leach, were combined as the civil parish of Eastleach in 1935. Like Eastleach, many of the Cotswold villages nestle in the valleys of rivers from which they draw their name. On from Eastleach, we shall wend our way up the Colne Valley, crossing the River Colne many times as far as Withington. Soon we shall pass Arlington Row on the banks of the River Colne in Bybury, originally built in 1380 as a monastic wool store, then converted into the picturesque cottages we see today in the 17th century. The Cotswold Hills take their name from the Cotswold breed of sheep introduced to Britain by the Romans. About 50 flocks remain in Britain today, many of which roam the Cotswold Hills, such as these ones happily grazing a peaceful meadow in Naunton. The earliest known example of Cotswold dry stone walling was built by our Neolithic ancestors from circa 3000 BC. Still constructed entirely of local stone, without any form of mortar, most originated in the 18th and 19th centuries, when large tracts of open fields and downland were enclosed. Now we are driving through one of the delightful little hamlets which pop up between the villages. We are coming to Colne Rogers, which is known as a thankful village because all of the soldiers who served in World War I thankfully survived the conflict and returned home to their families. There are estimated to be only around 30 such villages among 16,000 in England. I especially love driving up here. Yanworth has an elevated position, affording wonderful views of the countryside. What a joy this is in my little Honda, which really comes alive on these secluded, narrow and twisting open roads. Here we have yet another interesting little bridge over the River Colne. Down in the Colne Valley lies Compton House, which was formerly a much larger country mansion, then a farm, and now let out as an art gallery and events venue. A beautiful building in Cotswold stone. I could just do with a pint. Apparently the mill has been an inn since 1835. My car is a 2007 Honda S2000 Roadster, and I love it like a great British sports car, even though it's built in Japan. Perfect for enjoying a quintessentially English outing. Here's the turn for Notgrove. The quiet little village of Notgrove was listed in the Domesday Book as Nategray, the name derived from the Old English for wet grove or copse. Next on the agenda is the picturesque village of Lower Slaughter, which sits on the banks of the River Eye and is known for its unspoilt limestone cottages built in the traditional Cotswold style. Further on, we visit the Stanway estate, which dates back to the 8th century and is owned by the Earl of Wemyss and March. At the heart of the estate is the splendid Stanway House, a supreme example of the local honey-coloured Cotswold stone, and in the grounds stands the highest gravity-fed fountain in the world. The jet of water is over 90 metres high. Finally, we take in the quaint village of Snowshill, a fitting end to our Cotswold journey. Just going through Lower Slaughter. The name Slaughter comes from the medieval term slaughters, used to describe a marshy, muddy area of land. What a great view of the upper reaches of the Windrush Valley, named after the river flowing down it. Lighting power was hit very hard as a result of the great agricultural depression of the 1870s, and by 1900 its houses were in a dilapidated state. Since 1958 though, some 40 houses have been modernised and restored to their present state. For me, nowhere in the Cotswolds displays a finer example of the rich Cotswold stone architecture than Stanway House, its buildings and adjacent parish church. Probably one of the prettiest villages in the Cotswolds, the village of Stanton contains a number of 16th and 17th century houses, as well as a restored medieval cross. With a backdrop of the steeply rising Cotswold Hills, its exceptional beauty makes Snowshill one of the most attractive villages in the area. We are nearing the end of our journey now, showing you my favourite places. They form only a small part of a landscape in almost 800 square miles of rolling hills, unspoilt countryside and sleepy villages that go to make up the English Cotswolds. I couldn't possibly conclude our tour of the Cotswolds without paying a final visit to my most favourite place of all, Stanway House. It's been such a pleasure showing you around the Cotswolds, and I hope you've enjoyed the trip as much as I have. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye!